Hi everyone, welcome to TGIF, another Friday, another episode. We all understand that AI's inferencing capability is only as good as the information you possess. Of course, we rely on enterprise data stores to unify data, but unifying business meaning or a semantic meaning is the most hard part. As Microsoft, we released something called Fabric IQ, which is the heart of intelligence on top of enterprise data. And to speak more about that, it's my pleasure to welcome Arvind Raman for a short conversation. Arvind, welcome to TGIF.
Hi Sandeep, always a pleasure to be on TGIF.
Wonderful. It's been a while we did this, so thanks for joining me today. So quickly, I said Fabric IQ. Tell us more about what is Fabric IQ all about?
Fabric IQ essentially is a layer of intelligence that sits on top of your enterprise data, thereby enabling your data to be represented in the way business understands it.
Wonderful. That means all these you spoke about unifying data, but bringing the semantic meaning is what Fabric IQ addresses?
Essentially, yes. Traditionally, if you look at it, we've stored data in terms of rows and columns, and then we've built in some kind of feature engineering joins to kind of build the relationships. In the era of agents, that gets fairly laborious, as well as being a fixed schema, it gets kind of challenging to scale it up. A Fabric IQ helps you to define relationships, essentially building the ontologies across different relationships, bringing in the domain context, as well as providing a common understanding, whereby all units are able to understand the same meaning and work on it.
Wonderful. You mentioned the term ontology. It's largely the business semantic definition, right? That means for a manufacturing industry or a pharma or retail, the ontology is industry aligned. That will be easy for us to map the ontology to the real data we have, and that becomes navigable.
Exactly. Let's take a simple example of an order to cash cycle wherein we have stored data in terms of tables and columns. I have an order master, I have a product master, and my transactional data is stored in a different element. To build the relationships is going to be challenging. In the case of ontologies, I define 3 relationships, wherein an order primarily is placed by a customer, which results in revenue. So instead of tables and columns, I define it in a graphical format in terms of nodes and edges.
Wonderful. So hence it become navigable. So AI's ability to, when we do, let's say, it's almost like a graph rag, right? So the information is already in a graphical format, so easy for search to navigate the chain of information and pull out the right information for AI to inference.
Exactly. Awesome. I'm able to kind of do more complex relationship as well as do a more connected reasoning over these large voluminous data types.
Wonderful. Imagine for structured and unstructured both, ability for us to represent a graphical format. I mean, that was the missing piece in the puzzle, right?
Exactly. Awesome. And what Microsoft Fabric provides you is with different services like ontologies, like a graph database, data agents, semantic models, as well as digital twins. All these tools put together help you to build a completely new data model based on which I'll be able to generate more clearer insights.
Wonderful. Shall we look at a quick demo?
Surely. So what you see out here is a traditional way in which data is stored across tables and columns. Going ahead, I have gone ahead and built an ontology layer.
Perfect.
In this case, I have built in 4 different entities in terms of stores, products, sales events, and others. And what I've then done is built in the specific relationship wherein I've said sales event is linked to a product, which means product is sold in a sales event and a sales event happens in a store. So similarly, I have linked each of these different entities using the relationship builder. And once I have done this, it is easy for me to go ahead and query the data. Say, for example, I have a particular sales event, the whole relationship graph looks like this, wherein my product, sales events, and others are stored together. If I need to go ahead and query the same, I just kind of blow this up and I run a particular query. The tool would then go in and help me with the specific relationship across each of them. So in this case, if you see, I am able to represent my data, and this gives me a much more clear understanding of how the different products, how the different sales events, how the different orders are interconnected. I then leverage my data agent and query on this particular graph database based on which I get a more accurate result.
Wonderful. In fact, this is also the foundation for digital twins, right? End of the day, information being available in this format, nodes and edges, it's navigable. Hence, I map the signals coming from my real physical assets onto the ontology, and it's almost like a twin of that being represented in graphical format.
Exactly, Sandeep.
Awesome,
Yes.
awesome, wonderful. This is great, Arvind. You also mentioned data agent. Can you tell us more, just high level thing?
Okay, so traditionally for extracting information from tables, we all have had to run SQL queries on this, which is extremely challenging.
Right.
A data agent abstracts the complexities of writing a SQL query, wherein based on a simple natural language prompt, I am able to understand the particular question. The data agent looks into a particular natural language prompt, breaks it into multiple segments, converts it into a DAX or a SQL query, and then extracts the particular information in a easy to understand tabular format.
Wonderful. So we all dealt with hallucinations from AI perspective. With this IQ layer coming in, I think information should be made a lot more grounded for AI to be real.
Exactly. Business users could just go in and type in anything that comes top of mind, and you should be able to get these specific answers without being dependent on any kind of IT team or a data administrator.
Wonderful. Awesome, Arvind. Thank you so much. Wonderful demo, and thank you for the conversation. As you heard, I think the IQ layer was a missing piece of the puzzle. And with IQ layer coming in, AI's inferencing capability is a lot more grounded on factual data. And that's a true power of Fabric IQ. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Keep watching TGIF. Have a wonderful Friday and a great week ahead. Bye-bye.